talked about this a bit yesterday, that it's highly unlikely that a coy wolf is prowling around Burr Ridge. They're quite worked up out there about that. Burr Ridge Police, come on, Mitch. Burr Ridge Police warned residents of a possible coy wolf sighting, but there's no evidence that the hybrid scientists call the eastern coyote lives anywhere here in Illinois, or so they want us to believe. Let's welcome, for complete analysis and expert analysis, Chris Anker, Senior Wildlife Biologist at the Forest Preserves of Cook County, joining us here on the Big 89. So we know it's not a man.
Doctor, I told you it wasn't a man. It was an animal, a big wolf or something, a rabid dog.
Let's start with the Senior Wildlife Biologist. Chris, thank you for your time. First off, are coy wolves a real thing?
Sure. So what most people view as a coy wolf, when they hear that term, they're thinking one parent is a coyote and one parent is a wolf. And that almost never happens. There's an abundance, in general, there's an abundance of coyotes to breed with, and where wolves are present, there's an abundance of wolves. So it almost never happens. Having had said that, there are a few biologists and geneticists out there that will call the animals that we have running around a coy wolf because 1 to 3% of their genetic material is comparable to what's running around in a wolf. So I think that's where the confusion shows up.
In the article yesterday, you seem to say that there are people out there that actually buy or breed wolves with dogs, and that's an extraordinarily dangerous hybrid. Can you explain why?
Yeah, so imagine an animal the size of a wolf. So wolves in the Midwest, adult wolves are generally 80 to 120 pounds max. Imagine an animal that size and that unpredictable breeding with a domestic dog, which has emphasis on domestic. So it's an animal that's bred to live with us and to be trusted. So it would be a very large, very powerful, very unpredictable animal. And typically what ends up happening is they end up biting or maiming members of the family that own it, and they typically get rid of them. They try and treat them like dogs, and they're not dogs.
And how much percentage-wise would that animal have as far as DNA from a wolf? 50%?
Right. They're specifically bred for that purpose and sold as a 50-50 dog-wolf hybrid.
And that's legal to do in Illinois, sell a wolf dog?
If you have the right permits, sure. The problem is a lot of people don't have the right permits either to sell them or to have them, period. A wolf-dog hybrid is considered a wolf, so you have to get special permits to have a wolf in your possession.
Have you ever talked to people, and can you kind of give us a tutorial on what's inside their head that they want to own a wolf?
Wow. I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know how to go down that road.
I mean, my last name is Howell, and I love dogs, but there's no way I'd want to own a wolf.
I would never want to have something that unpredictable around my family.
The police department in Burr Ridge said they are investigating this, a lot of reports of potential coy wolves. We're going to set that aside. What do we think this animal is?
If I had to guess, it would be a large coyote that is partially going through the mange. So part of its coat right now is very shaggy looking and long, which makes it appear larger than what it actually is. So in the last 4 decades, I've literally handled thousands of coyotes in the region, and I can count on one hand how many coyotes are over 40 pounds. But in many cases, depending on how the coat is in its appearance, the animal looks to be the same size as an 80-pound German Shepherd, and that's typically what people are gearing it on. They're looking at their 80-pound Shepherd. They're saying that animal is as big as my animal, so it must weigh 80 pounds.
Do you think there's multiple animals in the area of 83rd and County Line Road out in Burr Ridge?
Coyotes, absolutely. Coyotes are everywhere. You can go downtown to the Loop, and there's coyotes.
Yeah, we have coyotes in my neighborhood in Lake Bluff, Illinois, and it appears to be quite a number of them, and they run as a pack, don't they?
They run as a family group, yeah. So at this time of year, you've got the mated pair. You may have a couple of animals from last year that, for whatever reason, did not breed, and they're helping to maintain that family group. And then you've got the pups of the year. So you could have anywhere from 2 to 8 pups running with that group. So potentially you could have a group that would be 8 to 12 animals in size.
Where do they build their dens? Is it like we have a lot of ravines in my neighborhood? Is that where they would be?
Potentially. So they would find a down tree, potentially go into a very large down tree. We have found dens underneath old foundations. So if you have any buildings that were abandoned, and in the Forest Preserve District, it's quite common for old agricultural properties to be acquired, and typically we would knock down the house and the barn, but the slabs of concrete would still be down there, and the coyotes can sense that, and they'll dig underneath those slabs of concrete. That's another area that would be very, very common. But several years ago, with the urban coyote study, we actually found a den of coyotes right down by Soldier Field, right by the parking garage. So,
are coyotes a net gain for us or a net loss for us? Should we preserve them or eradicate them again as we have done historically?
So most people would say that the more native diversity we have, the healthier the environment is. And quite frankly, they've been trying to eradicate coyotes out west for over 100 years, and they have failed miserably. This is an animal that's incredibly adaptive and plastic in its behavior, and it's here to stay.
Well, when they get going, howling in our neighborhood, our dogs certainly notice that. I notice that. I don't know if they're celebrating a kill or howling at the supermoon, the blue moon. I don't know what's going on, but it certainly brings me closer to nature, not necessarily in a good way.
It can be rather eerie at times for folks. What they're actually doing is they're just communicating. They're letting each other know where they're at. It's like saying, "Hey, I'm here. Where are you?" And they're calling back and forth. It does not signify a kill or an attack or anything like that.
Not an imminent attack on my house?
No, absolutely not.
Good. Chris Anker, Senior Wildlife Biologist at the Forest Preserves of Cook County. Thank you, sir. I'm sure we're going to call on your expertise again.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
So you see, just a relaxation is an understanding. I didn't see that coming.
Did not see that coming.